Questions, please.
What do you think wasn't clicking in that Virginia Tech game, in the passing game?
Sometimes you have days like that. Obviously, we started off rough with a couple drops. I don't think we dealt with the weather that well as a group, or as an offense, and particularly as receivers. We didn't do a good enough job, adapting until really the second quarter. We started making some plays and moving the ball a little bit, but early in the game, we just didn't do a good enough job adapting.
Coach, a guy like Tayseer had a pretty big first couple games and then it's kind of mellowed out a little bit. How do you kind of get him to stay even keel?
I don't think it's mellowed out. It's, the ball gets distributed different, because it's wherever it is. Some games you have 6 catches, some games you have 3, and then, but I think he's, if he'd have thought he had 62 coming into the season, he probably wouldn't have thought that. So at the end of the day, it's just being consistent. Obviously, I don't think anybody was consistent on Saturday, so it was disappointing. But for the most part, I think he has been consistent and played good games. It's really, like I said, Saturday was just a disappointing all the way around for the whole group.
Was Virginia Tech's coverage in the secondary tighter than what you've seen this season?
No, I mean, they've got a great defense, and a great coach, and they do a nice job, but it wasn't any different than anything else. Drop ball to drop ball. We had our opportunities and didn't make them, and, normally we would, and we didn't, and that's disappointing, but you move on, and everybody drops balls, so at some point you just move on and go to the next one. You don't want to let 1 week beat you 2 weeks, and that's kind of the deal. Like I said, it's disappointing extremely, but at the same time, we got to get ready for Boston College.
In response to the drops, do you change your preparation at all this week, or just keep doing what you guys do?
No, I don't think you change. Unless you're gonna make the weather, it is what it is. We practice wet balls, we do all that stuff, so it is what it is. It's like I told our guys. I was watching the Cowboys for a second, in a break. Saw Jason Witten, he's a Hall of Famer, I think, and Amari Cooper. Yeah, they both dropped one in the same series. So it's one of those things you keep playing. That's part of the game. You do what you do. We catch 1 million balls every day. So it kind of is what it is. And like I said, you don't want to let a bad quarter fester into a bad half, or a bad game fester into 2 bad games. So you move on and try to get better from it.
What element does the offense lose when Maurice isn't able to go?
One, he's a veteran, so there's some calmness because he's been through about everything you could go through on the field. And then there's some explosiveness, obviously, that we lose. You're mixing and matching parts to try to make up for him not being in. And that's part of coaching. That's part of, the next man up mentality, which, like I said, the week before we threw for 360. So, it kind of is what it is. We just want to make sure that we put our guys in a position, but at the same time, having Frenchie back helps a ton.
Has he been in your ear? Pull me in, Coach.
He was doing that last week. Last week he wanted to play, so he got cleared, I think, on Friday, and he was like, "I think I can go." Like, no, that doesn't work that way. But like I said, we're happy to have him back. And it's a senior day too, so I'm just excited for him to be able to be back. Because if you were as a coach, like the general public doesn't see all the things that happen behind the scenes. But when they told him, about the injury and weren't sure what his diagnosis was, we're sitting in here right over there, and he's balling. That's hard as a coach to take, not knowing if he's going to be able to come back for senior day or a bowl game or whatever. So the fact that he's able to come back is exciting for me.
You've only been here a year, but guys like Maurice, Aaron, Trey, what have you learned coaching them in 1 year as seniors?
It's been awesome. It's been my pleasure. Those guys have accepted me, which, again, as a fan or as a, someone that follows, you don't always know how those relationships are going to be. And having been different places, different people accept coaching differently. So I appreciate those guys and the way they've accepted the way I coach and the things that we're trying to get accomplished in the room. Like I said, they're a great bunch. They do everything that you ask them to do, whatever role we ask them to do. They're fully and willing to do it. Obviously, we went from being a running team to being more of a throwing team, and they've accepted all of those things. They just want to win at the end of the day, and you know, want people to help make them better. And you know, like I said, it's been more my pleasure than maybe theirs. So it's been a great experience for me.
Good.